Right, the IEC saying earlier on there that over 90% of the voting stations opened in time, and of course the trained staff who are working for the IEC also being able to handle and resolve some of the issues there in some of the voting stations. But let's shift gears now and take you to Cape Town, where our reporter Mariska Botha is standing by to bring us an update. Mariska, thank you so much for your time. Did voting stations open in time where you are?
Yes, absolutely. We started the late shift. We're burning the midnight oil here. We're going straight through. But all the voting stations we visited so far, it seems like it's been going very well. Save for one in Mfuleni, not far from where we are now, where they said the voter management device was not working well. There was no signal. But they're carrying on with the manual voters roll in order to get the queue moving. There's also quite a bit of a queue there, as there is behind us here now in Belhar, as people are waiting patiently, but this queue is moving quite swiftly along. People are telling us they're happy to be out here, they're happy to be voting. We have received reports from across the province, though, that in some areas there are excessively long queues and long waiting hours. But here in Belhar, so far, it looks like everything is going well. The presiding officer also telling us that they've crossed the halfway barrier. They have just over 1,800 registered voters in this voting area. And they said we are approaching the 1,000 people mark now. So voting going very, very well. It seems like turnout is also looking very, very good in terms of the numbers of people coming through. So yes, so far so good. I also spoke to the SABC a little bit earlier, a very high-ranking officer who told us that there has been no reports of serious incidents anywhere, making the elections in the Western Cape thus far smooth sailings. No doubt there were some voting stations that might have opened a little bit later with some problems here and there, but those that we visited all said it's certainly going well. And we made our rounds all along the Cape Flats up until we came here in Belhar, which is also on the Cape Flats, by the way. So yes, a queue here, but this queue is moving swiftly.
And I wonder then, Mariska, of course, when we hear from the IEC, as you tell us, it does look like now of course, things are moving swiftly. But what are some of the aspirations of the voters behind you who are going to make their mark today? What changes are they hoping to see?
Well, we had a nice conversation a little bit earlier in Delft, where we spoke to a lady who said she started casting her ballot in 1994, and she's not missed a single election since then. And for her, it remains vitally important. It's a right, and it's one that she cherishes rather very, very much. And then also we spoke to some young people who said it's the votes they make now, the ballots they cast now, will determine what happens to their children in future. Let's see if we can get, there's two young people in the queue here now. Let's see if they will talk to us. They're already smiling at me like they want. So if we can do a short interview with you, you're live on SABC News. Why are you voting tonight?
It's just the right thing to do, ma'am. Just, a lot at stake. Yeah.
If you say there's a lot at stake, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's important that we vote and make it known, what it is that you want for the future, and so forth. So yeah, I just think it's important. Everyone should, cast a vote. It's what was fought for, many years. So yeah, it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. And some people say that this election is might be as important as the one in 1994. How do you feel about that sentiment?
I think all elections are important. They're equally important. Not one more than the other, I think. I just think, there are a lot of more shifts currently taking place, and it's just like interesting. It's always interesting, there are lots of new things happening, and that's always interesting, Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're part of the younger generation. Do young people feel like yourself that you should cast your ballot? Because we've heard from so many saying they're not interested, they don't know what to do. But certainly where we've been, we've seen younger people turning up. Is that important to you as a younger generation?
Okay, I don't know. Do I still consider myself youth? But I don't know. I'm 42 now, so it's been a few elections for me. So
yeah.
So yeah, and I think the youngsters should do it too. I mean, I think the youngsters now are a lot more opinionated, and so they'll always be out. As you can see, a lot of the youngsters out. So.
Well, I assumed you were a youngster, so compliments on looking that young. This youngster is on his phone. So will you give us a short interview? He's on the phone quickly. This young lady over here, can we quickly just briefly talk to you? As a young person, why are you here tonight?
To cast my vote.
Why is that important to you?
To have a change in South Africa, to see a better future for when I do have children.
Yeah. Your vote is your secret, of course. Please don't share that with us. But did you have difficulty in deciding how you would go? You did not.
No, I did not
Okay.
at all. I know I'm voting for.
What persuaded you to come cast your ballots? Or
I believe if you do not vote, you have no right to complain.
Sure.
So that's the main reason. If I don't vote, I can't complain about everything or so. And I can't push for change or so.
Sure.
So that's the main reason.
And then, of course, what do you hope will come of your vote? Because yours is one of many, but one can make a difference, of course.
I hope mine will make a difference for a better South Africa. Sure. That's it.
Thank you very, very much. And this young lady over here, she says no. Some of them are quite shy. So there you had it. The young lady saying there, quite interestingly, if you don't vote, you cannot complain. Some might say that is a justified sentiment, given that we hear that so many people say there's so much wrong and so much happening. But voting is that critical thing that gives you the right as a citizen to say either I endorse or enough, or whichever way you want to take it. That is your vote, that is your voice. And that young lady expressing it beautifully, saying there, if you don't vote, you can't complain. So there you heard it. People are excited to vote. They're very patient. They seem very calm. But we saw that everywhere, even with the long queues. People were patiently waiting, and one lady actually telling us she's excited to be here, to be able to cast her ballot. So certainly here in Cape Town, on the Cape Flats where we've been, voters have been very patient, and they've been coming out in quite some numbers to cast their ballots.
All right, Mariska, thank you so much for that update. They will continue to monitor the Western Cape through your eyes. That's Mariska Botha, the SABC News reporter, reminding you, as you can see there on your screens, it's just under 3 hours. So you still have time. Do make your way to your voting station.